podcast.
Touchdown Ram! Recovered by the Chargers. Touchdown UCLA!
With USC great and NFL stud, Frostee Rucker.
The Trojans back in front!
And LAFB founder Ryan Dyrud on the Believe Podcast Network and LAFBnetwork.com. This is your destination for Los Angeles football.
What's going on, Los Angeles? Welcome to the LA Football Podcast here on the LA Football Network. And for the first time, the first of many time, welcome to those listening live in Los Angeles, Orange County, San Diego, and Santa Barbara. We are on the airwaves of the mightier 1090. Could not be more thrilled to be on radio. All of you listening via podcast or YouTube, nothing's going to change here. We will still be everywhere you listen to podcasts, 2, 3, 4 times a week, everywhere on YouTube at LAFB Network. If you're on radio and want to find us on those channels, at LAFB Network, where you're going to find us. But we are ecstatic to be joining the 1090 family. Fridays, 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock, the LA Football Show, doing what we do here on the LA Football Network. So if you're new to the program, all LA football all the time. Rams, Chargers, Trojans, Bruins, some high school. We might sprinkle in some Aztecs as well, since they are just down south. They're actually playing at the Dig up here in Carson anyway. So, but we are just thrilled. So thank you for tuning in. This is the LA Football Show. Got a great one for you today on a Friday. Great one for you. We got Joshua Kelley, former UCLA running back, current Chargers running back, jumps on with me, talks about joint practices with the Niners, you know, how that revs up the competition, how's camp look so far, the difference of this coaching staff versus last year's coaching staff, the transition from UCLA to the NFL level. Just a great conversation. Awesome human being, Joshua Kelley is. If you don't follow him, make sure to check him out. He's got a great story, just a great human being. I think you'll get that from listening. You can just tell he's a genuine person, which is awesome. So following that up, we got Thuc Nhi Nguyen. She is a UCLA beat reporter for the Los Angeles Times. So we're going to talk UCLA fall camp. What's been going on? I mean, practices are happening. Unlike last year, we have football in fall for these college programs. USC and UCLA are both practicing. So we talked to her about what she's been able to digest from fall camp from Chip Kelley. They don't let you see a lot there in Westwood. We kind of joked about that before the show, that you can basically see stretching and a few individual drills, and they kind of shut it down to the media. Chip Kelley likes to keep things pretty close to the vest there. But we get into as much as we can to give you an update on this UCLA squad. Rams and the Raiders, I almost said Oakland. Rams and the Raiders also having joint practices this week up in Thousand Oaks. Those have been very spirited from what I've been covering. We have some stuff up on LAFBnetwork.com for those of you who want to check that out about how those practices have been going. Yesterday's practice, Thursday's practice, ended short. Been a few scrums on these practices, and one happened yesterday, and Gruden said, all right, get on the bus, we're out. So the Raiders left LA again after 27 years, and they left early yet again, unannounced. To the chagrin of fans, or I guess there's no fans there, but to the Rams practice. So the Rams and Sean McVay finished practice on their own against their own defense, and the Raiders left. Got in the bus, packed up, and went. So classic Raiders move. But practice has been going well. Very spirited, very high competition, which you love to see in these joint practices, and then we'll see it on the field this weekend as they play each other for a preseason game. So we'll have all the coverage and analysis of that next week. So make sure to turn into the LA Football Podcast early in the week. We'll break that down, and they'll preview the next one on the radio show next Friday. So super pumped to have you guys here. Show is brought to you by Brewery X. It's located right in Anaheim on the La Palma Beer Trail, right near Angel Stadium and the Honda Center. Phenomenal beers, 30 beers on tap, 10 hard seltzers, phenomenal beer garden. They're located in Trader Joe's, True Wine, Bevmo, all across the Southland. So make sure to check out our friends at Brewery X as they are just fantastic people, fantastic beer. They'll be sponsoring a lot of events we're doing this year, some tailgates. So looking forward to that. So, but with that, let's get into this interview with Joshua Kelley. I'd love for you guys to meet him. I'm super excited to see his success this year. So here is my conversation with the great Joshua Kelley. All right, so I am delighted to be joined now on the LA Football Podcast by former UCLA Bruin, now current Los Angeles Charger, the running back, Joshua Kelley. What's up, Joshua? How you doing, man? Thanks for joining the show.
Hey, man, I'm doing good. Just out here at training camp, just doing really good, man, getting better every single day. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Love it. So just quickly talking about just today, first joint practice with the Niners down there with you guys. What was the energy like? What was the emotion? And what was it like actually hitting some guys besides your teammates?
Yeah, no, it was extremely competitive, as to be expected, though. You know, these guys are some of the best guys in the league, just talent-wise and just personnel-wise. So it was extremely competitive, man. It was fun out there. Got a chance to hit some guys other than us. So, you know, that was always great. So, yeah, man, I love the energy. And as a competitor, you have to love that.
Absolutely. Do you think I love these joint practices, and I know coaches love them too, and then usually when you do them, obviously this is the case for you guys, you end up playing this team in the preseason a few days later. Do you feel like you get a little edge up practicing against them multiple days before the game, or is it really kind of vanilla defenses that you get to see, and it's just kind of another practice there at SoFi now on Saturday or Sunday?
Yeah, no, that's a great point. I think for me, this is my first time experiencing it, so I definitely think he does give you an edge because you're going up against these guys. So you get a chance to see, like, okay, how are they coming? How are they hitting? What are their moves like? So come game day, it's like, all right, you have a good little glimpse and, like, breakdown of what each guy has in their arsenal. So I definitely think it does give you an edge for sure.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, I can't wait to see you break some big tackles then this weekend. So that can be expected,
man.
right?
Let's do it. Yeah, absolutely, man. You know, I'm definitely going to run hard and make the most out of every opportunity I get.
I love it. So, obviously, it's been widely reported. Everyone knows it. New coaching staff, new sheriff in town with Brandon Staley and those guys. And I think there's a lot of hype surrounding this team, as there should be. So much talent on both sides of the ball, including yourself. And that running back room is stacked. But just walk me through a little bit, and the fans out there listening, what's the biggest, and this is not a knock at all on the former staff, but just what's the biggest difference you've noticed from the former coaching staff to now this current one under Brandon Staley?
Right. I think, you know, both of them are great. I think the difference is, you know, Coach Staley and these guys, man, they got a lot of energy and passion. Like, these guys, you can feel it when they speak, the meetings, atmosphere. These guys love ball. You know, we're here to do. They're coaching us really well. They're coaching us tough, hard, and I love it, man. Like, you got to love that as a competitor. So for me, man, I love the fact that they're all young and energetic and, like, extremely passionate about this game, man. I love that. And for all of us, man, we're the same way. We're a bunch of young guys who love the game. And our coaching staff is the same exact way. So it's exciting, man. And these guys, they're great. They know football, too. They're really smart. They're X's and O's, and they're up to date.
Yeah, that's great to hear, yeah. And you can see the passion on the field, and I think you can see it in these practices and with you guys, just how you practice and how you perform, even on that opening SoFi game on Saturday, which I was at, which was a blast to see you guys take the field and get the W. I know it's a preseason game, but, hey, you play to win the game every time you're out there, right?
Exactly. Hey, man, like Coach said, he's like, they're keeping score. We're playing to win.
There you go. As a running back, how difficult, or is it difficult, having to change an offensive scheme, you know, right after your rookie season, coming as a rookie last year and then switching things up this year with a whole new offensive scheme? Is that difficult in reality, or is it more just, you know, you take the challenge head on and don't see it as don't see it as a difficulty, but more as just a new challenge?
Yeah, to be honest, I've just kind of embraced it. I know in college I played in 3 different systems in 3 different years. And here, same thing, you know, my last year had a different system. This year is a new system. To be honest, it's just part of the profession. And to be honest, I can't look at it as like, oh, this is tough, this is hard, like, oh, boo me. I feel like you just have to embrace it because, you know, a lot of guys, you know, go different places and you have to learn a new system on the fly. So I'm just always grateful for what I have.
Yeah, it's kind of the mentality you have to have, just in life in general, I think,
Right,
not just on the football field.
Mm-hmm.
We talked a little bit before we started recording, Joshua, how, you know, I've loved you since your days at UCLA and, you know, what you're able to accomplish there and, you know, being a bell cow back. And I thought you were extremely underrated across the country. Obviously, I'm biased since I live here in Pasadena, watched you all the time, covered you. But I think the NFL took that. I mean, getting drafted in the 4th round by the Chargers, staying here in LA, which I was super pumped about. What have you adapted in your game going from college, being that bell cow guy, the guy that the offense kind of ran through, to now being a complimentary back and kind of earning your keep in the NFL? What have you been able to adapt so far in year 2 than you did from your, going into your rookie season, albeit a COVID season? What have you been able to adapt and change about your game and refined?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And I think the biggest thing for me that I'm seeing myself making so much more progress is my versatility. I think, like you said, I take pride in being able to tote the ball, be a bell cow running back. But I think the biggest thing that I really take the challenge on is being great in pass protection and learning how to be versatile with route running, catching the football. So I think that's something I've added to my game that I'm showing improvement in. And I'm not satisfied. I can always get better at running, blocking, and, running routes and catching the ball. So that's something I've really embraced, though. But I've added those two to my game to try to make me as valuable as I can.
Dude, 100%. So I feel like a lot of players, I don't mean this as a knock, but they say the right things. They say what they're working on. But I've seen it. I've been at camp almost every day. Your route running, your catching ability, I think has just improved exponentially, which has been great to see. And I think in this offense, and you'll know much better than me being in the meeting rooms, but in this Joe Lombardi offense, the running backs are asked to do a lot and asked to catch the ball a lot. And so that's what's going to separate you guys. And I love Joshua seeing how much you've embraced that. And, there was a drill, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, and I'm sure you've run it more than just once, but it was just you guys against the backers and some of the secondary, running routes, split out wide, split in the slot, and seeing you go up against, Kenneth Murray and these backers, and you were burning them. You looked great out there. You looked like Keenan Allen in the slot.
Thanks, bro. No, I appreciate that, man. No, I really appreciate it because I really work hard at it. Coming out of college, that's something I wasn't really asked to do there. So I embraced it, man. I've been really working at it. I've been getting, with Herbert and the guys this off season and just been throwing, just working on routes, working on just timing, all these details, man. I've been really working at it. So, I'm not perfect. I'm not where I want to be with it, but I'm getting better at it. And that's something, like you said, in this offense, we're required to do.
Yeah. Well, it shows, man. It shows that the work is there. So I'm curious. One of my other favorite players, you can't see me, we're on the phone, but I'm wearing his we partnered with him to create a t-shirt with him. Your former teammate, Dimitri Felton, who's now with the Cleveland Browns, kind of took over your role as the lead back at UCLA, but now is playing more wide receiver. Did you guys work at all in the offseason because you look a lot like Dimitri got there now with the hands. Did you guys get together at all, or I know you're both busy doing your own thing?
I didn't get a chance to really work with him this offseason because he was busy. He had the Senior Bowl pro days and he had OTAs. But one thing I can tell you right now, just working with Felt, was he gave me a lot of advice. He gave me a lot of tips. And I saw him for a whole year playing running back at UCLA, just watching him on TV as well, just seeing how he runs routes and everything. I definitely watched, man. I can say I picked up some things. I'm not like he is. He has his own ability and gifts, but I picked on some tips.
As you should. Yeah. Well, we had him on the show during the offseason. I'm sure you guys talked, but he definitely spoke extremely highly of you and said he attributed much of his running game to what you did and what you've been able to show him and teach him. So I know he felt very blessed to be able to, learn behind you and take a lot of those things. So,
no doubt, bro. Felt, man, he's incredible. I'm excited to watch him this season. And yeah, man, I thought I really believe that he's one of the best players I've ever seen as a football player. So yeah, man, I really love that guy.
I agree. Off topic, but I'm shocked he didn't get picked in the 6th round. Absolutely shocked.
Me too.
Absolutely. That he was going before, but hey, Browns got a steal. I think that he had a great preseason game. So I got 2 more for you, Joshua. Really appreciate you taking the time, man. And I've been wanting to do this for a while, so awesome to get to talk to you. But back to yourself quickly. Obviously, it's a team game. You guys want to win the division, make the playoffs, go to the Super Bowl. That's the goal every year, in and out. If it isn't, you shouldn't be playing the game, so we know that. But on a personal level, what's kind of your personal goals you're looking for this year just to get better as a football player, as a teammate, and even as a man off the field?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think for me, football-wise, I've always have a high standard for myself as a running back. I always want to rush for 1,000 yards every single year. I want to do that a lot. For me, I want to have over 30 receptions this year. I want to make sure I'm picking up pass protection, be one of the best running backs graded in pass pro. So, I have high expectations for myself, so I got to earn it. Like you said, I got to earn my keep. So, but those are just me personal goals-wise. And also special teams, man. I want to make a difference. I want to make tackles. I want to go down there and block guys for special teams. So, I want to show up on the field And then, also just off the field, man, like making a difference in the communities. That's the biggest thing I've learned is like, how can you impact others and inspire others to be the next Joshua Kelley, the next Austin Eckler, such and such, because a lot of people need like positive figures in their lives because, it's a different time. It's generations looking for social media, all sorts of unrealistic things in their lives. So they actually need somebody they can see that's like, okay, this is how you do things. So I'm definitely trying to do some more work in the community, set up some camps for these kids in off season and get active, man. And also, for me, I'm a Christian man, so I also want to get closer to God and just keep that foundation there.
I love it. Yeah. My dad's a 25-year pastor, so I'm with you there.
Amen.
Yeah, absolutely. And, us we'll have to talk more after this because us at the LAFB network, we're trying to really get involved in the community here in LA too and have football be a driving force for, a positive and stuff in these communities. So it'd be awesome to be able to work with you and some of your other teammates and stuff to do stuff outside of football, but with football still as the forefront to kind of do good things in the community. Yeah. So we'll have to touch base on that. I think we can make something happen.
No doubt. No doubt, man. Thank you.
Yeah. And okay, I lied. 2 more. I'm sorry. We'll be quick though. But I have to follow up because you mentioned special teams and I know that's, correct me if I'm wrong, but your last, at least senior season at UCLA, don't recall you playing much special teams, you being the bell cow guy. I know you did stuff here and there. How hard is that? Just, talk to fans how hard that transition is when you go from being a featured offensive player to being a rookie, now kind of earning your keep on special teams, which may be more of a transition or a different mold. Whereas, fans say, okay, special teamer, you got to be great at it, but you're learning a whole new system, a whole new role that you really weren't used to back in college. How difficult was that? And how much have you taken pride in continuing to improve in that?
Yeah, no, it's been, at first, it was the biggest adjustment I had to make at this level because in college at UCLA, the year I sat out, I didn't play. I didn't play special teams the next year because I was playing running back, and my senior year I also didn't play. So I went years without playing any phase of special teams. So that was the biggest difference, I would say, my first year is understanding that, like, it's a different side of the game. You got to come prepared and ready. And for me, man, I think it's just all about just watching yourself on film, looking at your details, looking at how the game is studied and how to win. And I've been doing better, but I'm not satisfied either. There's so much more room for improvement for me on special teams, and I embrace that role.
Love it. Well, yeah, already improved every day. It's great to watch, man. So last one, I'll get you out of here on this. Got to ask about your former team, UCLA. A lot of expectations this year. Your former coach, Chip Kelley, year 4, former teammate, DTR. How do you see the team doing? I know you're busy doing your own thing, so I'm sure you're not focused on that, but just as a fan now, how do you see the former Bruins doing in the Pac-12 this year?
Yeah, no, to be honest, bro, I have a lot of high expectations for them. A lot of those guys who I was like juniors and seniors, those guys are now juniors and seniors. Yeah. So like, I'm excited for them. I know they have the potential, bro. Like, I've seen it. I've seen it when they were young. I've seen it on TV last year watching these guys play. Like, they have a lot of potential and talent. So I think this is the year they can finally, put it together and go out here and win some games, go to a big-time bowl game.
I think so too, man. I mean, we're on the hype train here. I'm pumped to watch this team and see what they do. So,
yeah, for sure, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, exactly. Now you can just enjoy it as a fan, hopefully. So, I obviously you're kind of busy this season, but if you ever have a bye week, hopefully you can catch a game. So,
yeah, no doubt.
Well, hey, man, what a pleasure, Joshua Kelley. The best smile in the NFL. Infectious attitude, dude. I hear all the time just what a joy you are to be around, the work ethic. So hopefully we'll get to meet in person here soon. We could do some work off the field, like I said, if you'd be up for that. But really appreciate you taking the time. I know it's busy during camp, so thanks for jumping on with us and talking for a bit, bro.
Yeah, man. No, thank you. Thank you for trying to talk to me, bro, because I really appreciate this, man. It's all about positive energy. So thank you for those compliments.
Dude, 100%. Yeah, man. Keep grinding. Stay healthy. We're your biggest fans here, so we'll keep cheering you on, okay?
Wow, thank you. It means a lot, man. Take care. God bless.
You too, dude. God bless. We'll talk soon. All right, huge thanks to Joshua Kelley. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Just an awesome guy, like I said. Big expectations in year 2 as he is in that room with Austin Eckler, Justin Jackson, recently drafted Larry Roundtree out of Missouri. So a lot of talent in that room. So we'll see how he progresses in that. Quickly, talk to you about my friends at Manscaped. The global leaders in below-the-waist grooming want you to shave and maintain with the Tom Brady of below-the-belt trimmers. The brand-new Lawnmower 4.0. Only the GOAT technology for the greatest balls of all time. When you're going towards the end zone, make sure you use the right tools for the job and choose Manscaped. 2 million men already have worldwide. Trust them. So join the movement and use our exclusive offer by going to manscaped.com and using the promo code LAFB20 for 20% off and free shipping. All right, welcome back to the LA Football Show here on the LA Football Network, the Believe Podcast Network, and AM, the mightier 1090. We are welcoming on to the show now Thuc Nhi Nguyen, Los Angeles Times beat writer for the UCLA Bruins. All right, joining me now on the LA Football Show to talk some UCLA. She writes for the LA Times, covering the Bruins, covering a little bit of everything actually in LA, but we're having her on to talk specifically UCLA football. Thuc Nhi Nguyen, it's been a pleasure. You've been on before, but welcome back. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me back.
Absolutely. Super excited to talk to you. If you've been at practices for the Bruins, for Chip Kelley and DTR, both entering year 4. So there's a lot of excitement around this team. I've been one of the people that actually think this team can do some really good things this season. But we have to see on the field, obviously. So let's just open with this, though. Football's back. You know, people can be there at practice, you know, in some extent. We talked a little bit pre-show. In some extent, you can be there, but it's different than last year where they're actually having practices in the fall. So what's just the vibe been like down in Westwood with the team, with the school, with people being back on the field? What's just kind of the vibe like down there?
I think, like you mentioned, UCLA is really excited for this year because they have high expectations. Maybe not nationally. I think maybe nationally everyone forgot about UCLA, but within the program, they understand that this is one of their best shots in a while to have a good team. Like, DTR is back for his senior year. His whole recruiting class, which is Chip Kelley's first recruiting class, they're all seniors now. So if there was ever a time to prove that Chip Kelley can make it happen at UCLA, this is the time. This is the time everyone's been waiting for. So there are high expectations in Westwood, and everyone's excited to get on the field against Hawaii in about 10 days.
Yeah. Crazy. I know. Then LSU comes to town just like a week after that. So I remember we were talking, we have an UCLA show on our network now too, which, I'll put you in contact with the Bruin Bible. So we were talking with the host there about doing something for the LSU game. I'm like, holy, this is literally in like 2 weeks. Like we got to start planning stuff. It's coming up quick. So football is upon us. Yeah, you mentioned it, this team welcomes back every starter essentially, except Dimitri Felton, and Osa Digizua. So, we saw some good things last year culminate over the COVID season, and going into this year now, they're hoping to build off that and actually put together a bowl-eligible winning season. So let me ask you this, DTR, if I'm not mistaken, missed some time in practices, but he has been back now. How has he looked from what you can tell? Does he look just comfortable, being the leader of this team, being his 4th year? I mean, it's so rare you have a 4-year starter at the quarterback position at a Power 5 school.
Right. So
what can you say DTR's looked so far in these limited practice sessions?
Yeah, he did miss about half of the training camp practices because he was unavailable, mysterious unavailable word. But after that, he's looked fine, no rust. He just jumped back in. He still kept up with workouts and Zoom and kept up in meetings virtually. So I don't think he missed a beat there. So it's not a problem that he'll be limited during the season opener. But I think he is confident in himself this year. And I think we're all waiting to see whether DTR can make it through the whole season. And he's played, this is his 4th year at UCLA. He's never made it through a whole season starting every game that he's supposed to. Last year, he came on really strong, but then he got contact traced out for 2 games and Chase Griffin had to go in. So we're the same way that a lot of fans are waiting for UCLA to break out. They're waiting for Dorian Thompson-Robinson to break out too. And I think he's kind of in the mode of, for me to do this, for me to live up to these expectations that everyone wants of me, I have to lead this entire team. It's not about myself. It's about making sure everyone else is performing to their best of their abilities, and me trying to foster this kind of environment that allows them to excel. So I think he's really taken it upon himself to be the best leader that he possibly can, because we know he has the athletic gifts to be able to make this happen on a Power 5 level. It's just a matter of making sure that his teammates can also kind of follow him into the promised land, as a lot of fans are hoping for and waiting for.
Yeah, I love that you say that, the team first mentality, because I think this team at least here in Los Angeles, has a lot of expectations for this year. And I think a lot of people are talking about, is this Chip's, last kind of test, if you will, and how it goes and what he looks like into the future. So it's good that DTR is looking at it as we need to win games. It's not necessarily for me, but looking at him, and I've talked about, nationally, when people talk about the NFL and these prospects, especially at the quarterback position, his counterpart at USC, Keaton Slovis, gets a lot of talk, rightfully so, as a potential first-round pick, and other quarterbacks around the country. DTR hasn't gotten that yet. Now, part of that is due to some up and down play throughout his career. Part of that's due to the injuries that you alluded to. But I think if he can put together a full season, and if his talent meets his ability, or should I say his production meets his talent ability, I think he could jump into those conversations. That's kind of my expectation for him. So for you, what's your individually expectation for him, or what do you hope he can accomplish this season? Because, he definitely has the ability to be in the NFL, but no one's talking about that. So what do you think he can do this year on an individual level?
Yeah, I think everyone needs Dorian to just be himself. One of the things that became very apparent when he was out those 2 games last year was just how much he turned the ball over. And Chase Griffin came in, and he does not have the physical ability that Dorian does. Chase Griffin is 5'10", but he doesn't have the athletic ceiling that Dorian does. But what he did excel at was just steady play. He didn't turn the ball over that much. He didn't make mistakes. And that won him a game. That almost won them 2 games. They almost beat Oregon. So that was really impressive. And then when you see the backup play like that, everyone is like, wow, why can't we get more of that from the starter? So I think everyone's just waiting for Dorian to show some consistency, not turn the ball over as much, and just do him, because everyone has seen how special he can be. They just want him to show it more consistently.
Yeah. I can't wait to see how he, puts it all together in this final year. And because I'm rooting for him, I think he's a great guy and great character, and hopefully he can make it on to the next level. But first, obviously, we want to see him do it for these Bruins. So I want to stick with the offense for a minute and looking at the running backs. Back-to-back years, you lose 2. They didn't lose many starters, but they lose 2 very important. 2 years ago, losing Joshua Kelley, who's now with the Chargers, and then last year losing Demetric Felton, who I'm actually wearing a Demetric Felton shirt. My guy, who's now with the Browns. So Britton Brown, we saw last year have great production, had over 6 yards per carry, I think, when he did touch the ball. They get a great transfer in Charbonnet from Michigan, who's a local kid that was a highly recruited guy. So what's the mantra on the running back room, and do you expect them to miss a beat at all, or do you expect them to maybe be even better than they were last year?
I don't think they'll miss a beat, mainly because the scheme is built to focus on the running backs. We thought they would miss a beat when Josh Kelley left. He was their workhorse for 2 years, and then look, they found someone in Demetric Felton. Yeah. So I think UCLA will find someone, and maybe it won't be one person like it was last year. And I think it will be a combination of Britton Brown and Zach Charbonnet. I think both of them provide a very powerful 1-2 punch. They're both big guys, over 6 feet, 200 pounds each, 205, I think, and 220. So they're big dudes. And usually when you have that 1-2 punch, it's like one small guy, one big guy. But they're going to come and hit you in the face, both of them. So UCLA has a lot of power at the top of their running back lineup, but also they have some of the smaller guys who kind of have a Demetric Felton feel to them. Keegan Jones, Casimir Allen, they're both shifty. They're fast. They're both fast sprint champions in college or in high school. So those guys will kind of fill in the Demetric Felton, do it all, catch out of the backfield kind of way. And then Britton Brown and Zach Charbonnet are kind of more of the 3 down, do it all from the backfield, run down the middle kind of running backs.
We'll call it a 2-4 punch, since they have 2 each instead of a 1-2 punch, the 2-4 punch. I think UCLA has 2 of the most underrated receivers in, for sure, the conference, definitely in the country, in Kyle Phillips and Chase Cota. And then you throw in Dulcich there at the tight end position. They have a really, really solid passing attack in those skill positions. What are you looking for out of this receiving room to be able to expand on what they did last year? I know a lot of that hinges on how DTR performs, but what do you expect? I mean, could we see a Biletnikoff semifinalist? Is that maybe reaching a little too high, or how do you feel about the pairing of Chase Cota and Kyle Phillips?
Yeah, I think Chase Cota and Kyle Phillips, the same way with Dorian. I mean, they were all in the same recruiting class together. And we're waiting for them to really break out and show what they can do. But I think because of the way the offense typically goes under Chip Kelley, because we've known all the way back to his Oregon days, he loves to run the ball. So the star is going to be the running back. But what you need from your receivers, obviously blocking, but really if they need to be able to perform at a moment's notice. Maybe you don't have a ton of catches, but you need to be able to make the catches count. So they'll definitely be looking for that from Chase Cota and Kyle Phillips as these super experienced senior guys in that receiving group.
Yeah, the experience on this team is out of this world, which I think is what is so exciting.
Right.
All right, we got to show some love to the defense before we get out of here. Give the fans, give the listeners one or two players that you're looking for in this defense too. You can call it a breakout if you want, or, the team I thought finally progressed last year on defense, where it had been a real sore spot for the team in these Chip Kelley years. And the defense we did see some improvement last year. So who are some guys this year? And obviously we probably saw them progress last year too, but really can make that leap this year and be a staple for this defense and have LA saying, okay, these are some good defenders that can play at the next level too.
Yeah. I mean, UCLA, as much as we talk about the offense and as good as the offense will probably be this year under Chip Kelley, that's kind of his bread and butter. This team will only go as far as its defense takes them. That's really important, and they need to really step up. So the secondary is a big concern for this team. They were not great in the passing game. I think they were well into the 100s nationally in terms of passing defense. So, I mean, they've got so many experienced guys back there. Quentin Lake is a big player for them, a big leader at the safety position. Quantrez Knight is kind of he's a former transfer, I believe, from Kent State, but he is a huge energy bug for this entire team. And everyone points to, even the most experienced leaders like Dorian or Quentin, they say Quantrez is the person who leads me. So he's a big part of this defense. And also the linebackers are really important. And UCLA added a big transfer in Jordan Genmarkeith from Notre Dame, I believe. And he's been taking over one of those middle linebacker positions, and linebacker's been a little bit of a sore spot for UCLA lately. Just they need to add a little bit more speed in that middle linebacker position. And I think everyone's pretty excited to see what Jordan Genmarkeith can do there to help their defense.
Yeah. Quintrez Knight was a guy all offseason was like hyping up Demetric Felton and Osa Digizuwa, all their combines. They're not really combines since that was canceled, but all their pro days. And so he was shouted up. So definitely a guy I'll be watching for and, see what he can do in that secondary that hopefully will continue to improve. Is this a unit you think that can jump within the Pac-12, can jump in the top half of the Pac-12? And I think that's kind of necessary for them to battle for this Pac-12 South. I've said now many times, and I'll say it again, at this point in the season, I think the Pac-12 winner is going to be based on that USC UCLA and the Pac-12 South winner, going into the Pac-12 championship. I think the winner of that game, I know Utah is going to be very, very much improved this year. Arizona State's kind of a question mark with all the allegations hinging over them, but they do have a lot of talent. But I just think with what USC has recruited and what they're bringing back from last year and what UCLA is bringing back and with all the experience, I think it's going to be between those two teams right here in Los Angeles. But do you think the defense needs to be in the top half of the conference, or can they get by enough with this offense? The defense just needs to be that bend but don't break unit.
No, the defense needs to be good on its own. I don't think it can skate by what we saw last year when they played SC and Stanford at the very end of those games. They outplayed both those teams for the majority of the game. And it was just so crazy how it happened in back-to-back games to end the season in kind of the same way. That was just so weird. But that's kind of what happens when your defense tries to hold on.
Yeah.
It lets go at the end of the game. And so if I was a UCLA fan, I would not be happy with let's just have our offense carry us thing, because we've seen that go very wrong for UCLA for a long time.
Yeah. Other than that Cal game last year, it was pretty much almost every game where it was back and forth, hanging on. Hopefully, can we get a stop here? So I just want to see more aggressiveness out of the defense and really take the offensive, if you will, in order to get a stranglehold in these games. So, Thuc Nhi, we'll get you out on this. Going to put you on the spot. Prediction, I kind of said how I feel, what's going to happen. But how do you think this UCLA season goes? Do you think they have a shot at the Pac-12 title? Do you think they're still kind of middle of the road, but they'll be good enough for a bowl game? What's your thoughts from what you've seen so far in camp and just based on last year?
I think it's going to be tough for this team. They have a really hard schedule.
Yeah.
If this was a year where they had a Washington State and an Oregon State, that would help them out a lot. But unfortunately, it's not. They have at Washington, Oregon at the Rose Bowl, SC at the Coliseum.
Yeah.
So they have a really, really
LSU.
tough schedule. LSU, of course. I mean, we have, and that's just the conference stuff. So I think because of that, I don't think they'll be as good as everyone's hoping for. I think they're good for their first winning season under Chip, which is a good accomplishment, but maybe 7, 8 wins is probably what I would think it could happen for this team, even though I do think they have the talent to be better than that record suggests, but just the schedule is a tough one, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're not, I think they're getting back. They're doing things the right way, but they're not back yet. So going against those powerhouses in Oregon and SC and Washington, I know Washington had a down year, but they're going to be back soon because of what they've done in recruiting. So do you think
and
last
you have
question?
to travel to Washington.
Yeah, and play. That's not an easy stadium to play in college football. So follow up on that last thing. Do you think 7 or 8 wins is enough to keep Chip around, or do you think it needs to be fighting for a Pac-12 championship?
Man. Well, one thing I will say, I'll say 2 things. 1, I'm glad I'm not Martin Jarmond.
Yes.
2, he is in his 4th year of his 5-year contract. And after this year's done, he won't have his buyout anymore. It's $9 million off the books, I think.
Okay.
So that is one thing that could be helpful. But 7 wins, that first winning season.
Be an improvement every year. So
I guess so. But it's kind of tough because you don't really know. We haven't really seen how aggressively Martin Jarmond will kind of run this athletic department. We don't know. I think in UCLA eras of the past, the first winning season, 7 wins, that kind of steady improvement would be great. But we don't know how aggressively Martin Jarmond is running the ship yet. And this is kind of going to be a really big decision for him to make as well, to kind of set this tone of what he wants for this athletic department, because he's only been on the job for a year. And so far he's done really, really great work, and everyone's been really happy with him and so impressed with the kind of energy he's brought to this athletic department. But the same way that's going on at USC, the athletic director does have a really big decision always with what to do with that football coaching position. If the results are kind of middle of the road in a town like this, middle of the road doesn't really sell many tickets.
Yeah. And that's why the program's been down for 22 years, unfortunately. So big decision looming for him. And I think I said, every year improvement, but I think when Chip was brought on, it wasn't expected to be a 5-year, improvement window. It's supposed to be pretty quick. So we'll see. I think if you can get to that 9 or 10, I think you'll be fine. But 7 or 8, it's going to be real touch and go. And it'll kind of, I think, come down to if Martin Jarmond thinks he can get someone bigger or better in, because obviously you don't want to go backwards. So, but if he thinks he can do that, then maybe he comes in and makes the thing. But hey, we haven't started the season yet. So let's just all hope it goes great. Hopefully they're contending for a Pac-12 championship. Hopefully Chip's vision comes to life and we see good things with this program. Thuc Nhi Nguyen of LA Times. Where can everyone find you at?
Oh, you can find me on Twitter. Well, you're not supposed to find me on the campus because it's closed. But when I'm not on the campus, you can always find me on Twitter at Thuc Nhi 21.
There you go. So find her there, follow her there for great UCLA coverage. Thank you for coming on the LA Football Show. Really appreciate you. We'll definitely have you on again throughout the season. Hopefully I'll see you at either practices or games here soon. Okay.
Yep. I'll definitely be there.
Awesome. Appreciate you. Take care. Yeah. Huge thank you to Joshua Kelley, running back for the Chargers, and big thanks to Thuc Nhi Nguyen. She's awesome. Make sure to follow her. Like she said, on Twitter. You can find her at the Los Angeles Times, UCLA beat writer. Covers kind of all their sports, but specifically right now covering football. So it was a joy to have her on. But major thanks to all you guys. We made it through the first live show on the Mightier 1090. We are absolutely thrilled to be here. And it's thanks to you guys. Thanks to all your listening. and supporting the LA Football Network as we continue to grow this brand, build this empire here in Los Angeles, and give you the LA football content that you deserve. In an underserved market, we are changing the game. We have tons of stuff planned for this season. Live tailgates. Brewery X going to be there. So if you love beer, you got to check us out. We'll have at least one tailgate at every, or at least one per team this season. So one Bruins tailgate, one Trojans, one Chargers, and one Rams. Can't wait to party with you guys at SoFi. We'll be doing some live broadcasts at Brewery X, at different bars in the Southland. So just a lot of stuff, fun stuff planned. So make sure to check us out at LAFB Network on all the socials. Find us on wherever you listen to podcasts. Just search LA Football. We are the LA Football Podcast. And make sure to like and subscribe on YouTube. We'd really appreciate it at LAFB Network. If you want to see what we look like, see the production behind the scenes, and always listen to us on Fridays at 5 on the mightier 1090. Appreciate you guys. Have a great weekend. Peace.